Hey, what's up, dudes? My Spotify put on Blink 182 last night. So I guess it's a whole vibe, you know what I mean? All right, so the topic today is import guitars. How do you choose? How do you choose a great one? And in my opinion, this is a great one. And the last couple videos I've been doing on the channel have all been mostly featuring this Harley Benton SC550, which is another great import guitar. And I think just an incredible guitar overall. I've been shooting it out with a bunch of much more expensive guitars. And it's really been punching above its weight class. That's always the hope, right? We as guitar players are always trying to go, man, I just wish I could find something for like $350 that's just awesome, that I love, and that I want to leave in the collection, or $500 that I want to leave in the collection, you know, and maybe it can compete with my $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 guitars, right? You know, that's the goal, right? And sometimes you get that and sometimes you don't. And so today I want to talk about two strategies that I think you can use to find great imports. Now, regarding imports, first strategy is rely on the general consensus of reviews and factories that are making them. What do I mean by that? If you buy an Indonesian guitar, this guitar right here, this baritone Tele from Squier, is crafted in Indonesia. This guitar right here is crafted in Indonesia. I had another really great guitar. It looked kind of like this. It was a vintage brand. There's a brand called Vintage Guitars. And same headstock shape as the Harley Benton. Same neck, joint, and body style as the Harley Benton. But they make like a slash-looking guitar. And then I think Harley Benton even makes one too. And they're so similar. And you can tell that just the neck carves a little bit different. You can tell it's the same manufacturer, same headstock shape, just a different brand name. All that stuff in Indonesia is going to be made by Cort, the Cort company. My understanding is Cort is really the only company out there making guitars. In Korea, we've got Samick, and I think there's a couple others, but I had like a 98 Sheraton. That was great, and it was made by that Samick factory, I believe. And I've held other guitars there and knew they were made in Korea, and I can just tell. You know, I'm like, this feels so familiar, like it's the same people making it. True story. First time I picked up a Duesenberg, I said, "Where's this made?" And someone said, "Oh, I think they're made in Germany." And I immediately was like, "This is a Korean guitar," and they were like, "No, it's not. No, it's not." And then like a little while later, you know, everyone. I think like Duesenberg got a little more transparent about what was going on, but you know, Duesenberg does the wood. They actually build the guitars in Korea, ship them over to, I believe, Germany, and they do all the fretwork. They put on all the hardware. They might do the pickups, right? I don't know, but those guitars are actually like multiple country of origin in the truest sense of the word. That it's like it starts in this country, is here in this unfinished, unplayable status. It goes over here. Other parts are sourced that are higher quality and put on. So you know, those, I don't know what the law is on what you say about those, but Duesenberg's pretty honest about that now. You can do some digging on that. But the wood, I believe, work is all done in Korea. And you could feel that. To me, you play some late 90s Korean stuff, I go, this feels just like that. So it's interesting. You can kind of pick things out. Fujigen, Matsumoku in Japan, to me, have feels. You can feel kind of the Japanese thing, but you can also tell when it's like a Matsumoku. Matsumoku would often, I think, do some of the cheaper lines, and so sometimes you can tell when it's a Matsumoku thing. But Matsumoku had great high-quality stuff. HW, get out of the weeds, man. I'm trying to learn how to get great import guitars. Let's talk about it. First way, rely on that knowledge. I think incredible stuff is coming out of Indonesia right now. China is a little more difficult, and I'll tell you why. Some of the crafted in China Squier and Fender stuff is great. The problem is there are many manufacturers in China. And so it's hard it's not like Indonesia or Korea where there were just a few, or Japan even. Japan actually had more, but the big two I always remember are Fujigen Gaki and Matsumoku, and the Terada factory is the other one. Anyway, these companies are still at NAMM. You can go to NAMM, and they have little like nondescript booths, and like I saw it said Fujigen, and it was literally a door just to take meetings. They're just looking for OEM manufacturing opportunities. But if it's Indonesia, I think quality is at like it's at a very constant level. Korea, I believe that as well. The Reverend stuff is really good. You can just tell, like where it's made and where it's from. China has a bunch. So my recommendation would be rely on brands. If you are in the market for like a great Jazzmaster, there's no better one than the J Masix. The general consensus has always been this is a great budget Jazzmaster. If you want to replace pickups, cool. Classic vibe Squires made in Indonesia. Maybe some are made in China now, I don't know. But all the ones I bought about a year ago were made in Indonesia, including this one. This is the bit. Now, let me tell you this. The second strategy that you kind of got to employ is try to make your best informed decision, but you always got to try the guitar. So the second one, I would recommend buying guitars, import guitars. You can buy them used, but if you can't try them out, I try to stay away from them. And you could take your chance as long as you're willing to resell it. But you got to understand, you got to take your chances. What I did about a year ago, I bought 6 or 7 Squires, all at Pro Audio Star. They were doing this big Black Friday blowout. And I knew I wasn't going to keep all those guitars. I ordered this. I ordered a Classic Vibe Tele that was the same as this, but not a baritone version. That guitar was terrible. It was one of the worst guitars I've ever played, had. Action was terrible. Everything was bad on it. Neck was just uncomfortable, terrible. It might have been twisting a little. It was awful. This baritone has been just awesome, Throw a Tube Screamer on the bridge here, and it just sounds great. So that's 2 guitars, very similar models, same factory, that were not great. There was another one that it was those Squires with the Floyd Roses. There's like pink and purple ones, and those guitars were amazing. They had roasted necks. I think they might still make them. Andertons did a video on them, and they're awesome guitars. I kept that one for a while, did some videos on the channel about it, and then sold it. And then I bought 2 basses. One was not good. The nut was cut wrong. It was all bad. The other one is a Mustang kind of like bass that I have, and it's a great utility bass to have in the studio, and it's cool. I can replace the pickups if I want, But honestly, the pickups that come in here came with 1 P and 1 J. That guitar was awesome. Other bass was trash. I have a Fender 6 or a Squier 6 over there. It's kind of mid. It's cool for what it is, but the low string needs a little work. It flubs too much, and so it's not the best playing instrument, but you can play it, and what you get out of it is a very cool thing, because I don't have another 6-string, Fender 6 where it's like a 6-string bass basically. And so it's a cool novelty to have here. I would like to eventually get a better version of that Fender 6 guitar. Maybe I just find another Squier model like that that's a little better. But it seems to be you have to try them out. So the way to do that is either be willing to buy and resell several times, or be willing to, go to Musician's Friend. Go to, what's the one everybody goes? Sweetwater. Go to Guitar Center. You can, of course, try them out in Guitar Center, but go to their websites and honestly, dude, bust out a credit card, order 4. Order 4 of the exact same guitar. What you will find is this is what you're going to find. If it's a brand new model, a brand new release, this is what I found. New model for 2025. They will all be remarkably consistent. You'll find one that's worse than the others. The others, it'll be a crapshoot. You'll probably even play one, go, this is the best, and then you'll play a different one, go, no, maybe this is the best, and you'll go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? They will be very consistent early on. I've noticed this. Why? If you see a brand new Squire that gets a glowing review from Andertons, from YouTubers like me, one thing I've discovered, it's not that we're all shills, it's that the initial runs of 50 or 100 guitars, they know exactly where they're going to go. They get those are the first to land, even in big runs, even for Squire and stuff. The first 100, 200 guitars they might even be paying a little more for them for extra QC. And I bet it might just be the manufacturer, the OEM manufacturer, who's like, they're going to be watching this new model. They're always consistent and the best. Always, dudes. Like every one that I've ever bought has been so great when it's a brand new model. You get a little ways into production and you start to get all the variances. So if something just comes out and it's like you can pre-order, like if you can pre-order a new Squire 2025 that's like, a paranormal model, I guarantee you that's going to be the best, among the best they produce. They might produce other ones that are just as good. QC might stay high, but they are not dummies. They don't want to send Andertons and myself and other people like stuff. People don't really send me stuff. I don't really do reviews of guitars. I just sort of do guitar chats like this. But they know where those are going, and they want them to get glowing reviews, and they want the first people to try them in stores and stuff to say things nice about them, kind about them. And so that's what they do. So if you can get a first run of something, or just the first year, the first 6 months, 3 months, basically the first ones that are hitting the store after they're released, you're probably going to get a much more consistent Squire or whatever. I found this especially true about Squires. You're going to get a more consistent one. But that's really what you got to do. It's just the name of the game. You're going to have to, the signal to noise ratio is what it is. You're going to have to wade through a little bit of muck to find the good stuff. And then when you do, you're going to be able to go like, I like this guitar, I play it, I'm using it. If it passes that test for me, then I'm willing to go, I got a little problem with this guitar. I wish it would just clean up that problem. I need to get a new nut cut. But to me, the modifications to an import can't be something that takes a bad guitar to a good guitar. It's got to start out a good guitar. There's too many intangibles with guitar. I know a lot of guitar makers are going to say, no, that's not true or something. But to me, if the instrument kind of speaks to me, but has a couple flaws, or I could tell it's just lacking, it's a little cheap, like this guitar, putting in some other baritone pickups or just some other pickups would be I'm sure it would take this guitar up a level. And on a long enough timeline, I will probably end up doing that, because this is a guitar I'm not going to sell. It's a good one, and it's worth more to me than it is to sell it on Reverb. And that's really what we're looking for. We're just looking for a guitar that's worth more to us as a player. It's worth it to have it than it is to turn around and try to get the $500 or $600 back, right? So go buy 4 of the same model, 3 of the same model. Go to Guitar Center and try 3 of them. Pick the best one, and you'll know confidently you got a good one. And these things are just getting better and better with time. I've had a lot of people say in the comments the last couple of videos, I've been really raving about this guitar. And a bunch of people say, I bought one and it was terrible, it was unplayable. I don't know if you got the 550 model. I don't know if it was made in Indonesia. I don't know if this is a good year, or if I just got a good one. But this guitar really does hold tune with these stock tuners that just look like, the Clousons. It just looks like the old Clousons, but they're non-named. They're just nondescript, court-made, Basically, these things, this thing stays in tune better than a lot of my more expensive Les Paul-shaped guitars. And it's awesome. So if you have a bad one, maybe sell it and try again. Or maybe just order 2 more from Thomann, see if you did get a bad one or if the whole model sucks. And then return those 2 risk-free, and there you go. The other thing is, if you do want to buy used, here's a really useful tip. I should have put this earlier. A really useful tip is, if you want to buy something used that's an import, check out Guitar Center's used section because you can order it. They'll send it directly to the store, or I think they'll send it to your house. I can't remember. Maybe both. But if you don't like it, you just bring it back to your local Guitar Center. So you get the opportunity to look over the whole inventory nationwide because it's a big web operation, but you get the opportunity to return it locally, just like you do with all the Guitar Centers. I believe if you order anything on Guitar Center online, you can return it to a local GC. So keep that in mind. That's a really great way to do it. Anyway, dudes, check out. That's how you get great imports, in my experience. You just got to go through it. I've been HW.